Hello, I'm Francis Lawrence. I'm the director of The Hunger Games Catching Fire, Mockingjay 1, Mockingjay 2, and also The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Behind the scenes, you guys know as well as I do that those executives like Spielberg are looking at that saying, Rachel Zegler can F right off.
What would you say to those who are just kind of overly critiquing the film at this point? You've worked so hard on it.
You can get across. Hold on. Here. Yeah, hold on.
All right.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, I don't need your business. Thanks.
Yeah. Weird.
The producers, far left-wing activists in Hollywood, are turning on her, and Disney has canceled all of Rachel Zegler's appearances on their media platforms. Kind of tough.
Hollywood royalty just did the unthinkable. Steven Spielberg and Francis Lawrence, two of the most powerful directors alive, didn't just back away from Rachel Zegler. They exposed her, brutally and publicly, allegedly with full intent to end her rising career.
They say all you have to do to make your wish come true is let it echo, 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 echo.
It's awful, generic. Never mind that the lyrics make no sense at all. All you have to do to make your dream come true is let it echo. Is it like on a metaphorical level?
I truly do believe that. There's something wrong with her. She's disturbed, she's unhappy, and she thinks it's about feminism and the patriarchy and about abortion. But the reality is she's just not stable.
Rachel is literally the star of a Disney movie, and she acts like she's some sort of victim. And that's the sort of mentality that is just poisoning people's minds. Like, she acts like her life is so bad.
But you don't seemingly like your own character, so she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat.
Rachel Zegler, like so many kids raised on TikTok, she's all for infanticide is the only global solution.
Now, I'm guessing that she's not married. I'm guessing that she doesn't have kids. The movie is a complete disaster, by the way.
This wasn't some vague industry rumor. It was calculated, coordinated, and apparently years in the making. The whispers had always been there. Zegler was difficult, entitled, and openly disrespectful to the very legends who built the industry she now walks all over. But now, Spielberg and Lawrence aren't whispering. They're making sure everyone hears it.
Have they ever thought about maybe like a little bit of like, I don't know, vulnerability study, opposition research, that sort of thing, before you go and hire some Zoomer who's a lunatic?
And they postponed the release of this thing, Ben, for a year because their star, Rachel Zegler, was so unlikable.
Saying that audiences will always line up to see her no matter what she does.
Every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
You know what's interesting about all this is that the only person waiting in line to see Snow White was Rachel Zegler.
They're allegedly revealing everything. The chaos on set, the diva meltdowns, and an ego so big it derailed entire productions. And the most shocking part? They're not leaking this to tabloids. They're bringing it straight to the real decision makers. Studio bosses, casting executives, top showrunners.
It's the most emotional experience that a person can go through to know that what they're working on is something that has reached a generation of people.
Oh my God.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business. Thanks.
You know, I don't need your business. You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it, you didn't direct it. You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White. Right. You should shut up and do the job.
Spielberg is reportedly calling her a set killer. Lawrence is said to have called her a director's nightmare. And now, blacklisted isn't just some fan theory. It's becoming the word Hollywood quietly mutters every time her name comes up. Insiders are even leaking call logs. And what's coming out is uglier than anyone expected.
Stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess. I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed on.
Oh, really? Are you having trouble paying your bills, Rachel? Did Steven Spielberg not pay you for your role in West Side Story? Did Disney fail to give you a healthy paycheck for, like, cry me a river? She's just exactly everything that we can't stand.
I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
I know this point has been made, but this truly is the worst casting maybe in the history of the film industry.
Spielberg, who's worked with legends like Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep, saw the red flags fast. Rachel wasn't just inexperienced, she was arrogant, unteachable, and rude in ways crews said they hadn't dealt with in decades. She challenged direction in the middle of scenes, complained about camera angles, and refused to say iconic lines unless she could fix them. She reportedly rolled her eyes at lighting crews and wouldn't do reshoots unless her creative ideas were followed.
No one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie.
Weird. I would highly advise that you boycott this film, no matter how much your children love Snow White.
This is no ordinary apple, my dear. It's a magic wishing apple.
A wishing apple?
You offer it to me freely. In place of the patriarchy, you would have a queen! Not white, but diverse, inclusive, and equitable! I will become the leader I know I can be! All shall love me and despair!
Oh, what has she done to you? Fear not, First Love's kiss can break any curse.
And she didn't just pull this with Spielberg. When Francis Lawrence brought her on for The Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, insiders say he faced the same nightmare, only worse. That's when the calls started. Spielberg and Lawrence allegedly compared notes, and what they shared sent a clear message across Hollywood: stay away from Rachel Zegler. And when two of the biggest directors in the business are the ones sounding the alarm, you better believe Hollywood is listening.
And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
However, theaters were empty. People filmed themselves walking into showings where they were literally the only ones there.
I am walking into Snow White, 2 p.m., now seating. Let's see how empty it is. I hope it's off the book we go. I hope. Sound like I hear a couple of people. One, two. Okay. 2.
And now, The Simpsons are turning her into a joke on national TV. A joke that everyone's going to see. Sources close to Rachel say she's furious. She's not laughing, not even close.
This bed's too hard. This bed's too soft. And this bed is just like the first one. Also too hard. I guess I'll sleep in the one that's too soft.
Yep, even though The Simpsons is technically part of Disney, that didn't stop them from going all in with their own savage parody of Zegler and the Snow White disaster.
Because a woman shouldn't have to depend on a man. Snow White was brought back to life by a lady doctor.
And she lived happily ever after?
Well, she couldn't indulge in strenuous activities like handball, but otherwise, she was fine.
That's nice.
So Snow White slept and waited for her prince to come, but he never did.
The cartoon paints her as a tone-deaf, self-obsessed girl boss who's completely out of touch with reality. And let's be honest, a lot of people agree. And as if things couldn't get worse, while The Simpsons are busy roasting Rachel Zegler, she's trying to run from the disaster, escaping the total failure of Snow White.
What would you say to those who are just kind of overly critiquing the film at this point? You've worked so hard on it.
You can get hold on here. Hold on.
All right.
And as if this weren't enough for Rachel Zegler, look what South Park did. In their latest episode, the legendary animated series goes all in, roasting Zegler and the total disaster that was Disney's Snow White signature South Park swagger. No filters, no apologies, just pure, unfiltered chaos.
No, make it more lame. That is exactly what they're doing. And that is why we hate the diversity, equity, and inclusion casting and writing in movies.
Rachel Zegler has suddenly gone completely silent. just days after Disney reportedly asked her to pay up for the total disaster that was Snow White. The actress, who's been at the center of massive controversy, has now vanished from the spotlight. No interviews, no social media, nothing. And get this, multiple sources say she hopped on a plane and flew all the way to Dubai. Now everyone's asking the same thing. What is she running from? And what exactly is she trying to protect?
I just want to tell you guys about a little incredible movie that just came out, Snow White. Wow. I just got to tell you, best movie I've seen in years, and there have been some really good films lately. Madam Web, Rebel Moon Part 1, that movie, that transgender one with the Mexican drug lord. But Snow White blows them all away. Chat, this movie has everything. Horrifying, CGI, little people, check. A feminist princess who don't need no man, double check. Diddy dance party at the end, double Diddy check. All this to say, go see Snow White right now. The new one. Not that old stupid one where the princess gets saved by some good upstanding guy.
They're remaking the movie. They just got rid of the dwarfs. Okay,
but what do they call them?
Why
now
would they
too?
get rid of the dwarves
though? Magical
creatures. But they have one token dwarf amongst these magical creatures. You actually just went backwards. You actually just erased the dwarfism side of it. The disability, like we're a disability group. You just erased that whole image. The argument should have been from Peter Dinklage. There's power of being on TV. There's power of television. And to put 7 people with dwarfism on camera in a major Disney movie, there's still power there. If the story is offensive, change the story. Don't change the characters.
Fans are stunned, Hollywood insiders are scrambling, and Disney is reportedly furious. Rachel's sudden disappearance comes after massive backlash, viral outrage, and rising legal drama. Sources say Disney execs were already considering serious options, like enforcing morality clauses or slashing her bonuses. No press, no red carpets, just silence. Now everyone's asking, is this really a break or a carefully planned escape? What's fueling the fire is the timing. Zegler vanished right after reports said Disney held an emergency meeting to decide if she's to blame for the Snow White disaster.
And then they had to hire a special media consultant for her to follow her around all the time and make sure she didn't continue shitting on Snow White and the prince and young love and women who want to get married and Steven Spielberg, the executive producer of her previous movie, and white people who she claims wanted to know if she was really a Latina on her first movie.
Alex, what has been the reaction to Disney's latest expensive own goal?
Well, the reaction has been absolutely horrible. It is the worst box office from a Disney live action remake that they've ever done.
I mean, they're projected to lose between $200 and $400 million on this.
Some believe the studio is gearing up for legal action, while others think quiet negotiations may already be in progress. But Zegler's silence, combined with her abrupt move overseas, has fans wondering, is she avoiding the media, or is she trying to escape something more serious, like legal trouble?
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
Excuse me, your curtain. Please allow me to help.
Help? From you?
I didn't mean to offend. I just thought you should know that
That I should know what? That some privileged white guy thinks his opinion matters? Get over your entitlement. I'm not some damsel in distress waiting for you to ride in on your high horse.
And this is where things get weird. Her team says she's just taking a break, but online detectives aren't buying it. Deleted posts, jet trackers, and a wiped schedule, something's up. No one knows when or if she's coming back. Meanwhile, Disney is in full panic mode after Snow White flopped hard. Insiders say the studio could lose up to $250 million. And now, there's buzz that they're pressuring Rachel to help cover the damage.
This woman shown here is not the actual woman playing Snow White, but the woman playing Snow White is named Rachel Zegler. And she and Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen, were caught on the red carpet. This is actually from September of 2022, but it's resurfaced now because the movie's coming out, talking about what we should expect from Snow White.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Oh my God.
Nobody
Who
wants
wants
that.
a movie about true love? What kind of woman do we want out there seeking true love, Eliana? The outrage.
Insiders say things exploded after the film's opening weekend. Disney held a secret meeting to discuss whether Rachel Zegler's wild behavior broke her contract. From mocking the 1937 classic to pushing political views, her press tour caused serious damage.
They've been in a full meltdown about this girl for a couple of years now, and how they had her tweet out like a little, "Yay, Snow White, can't wait, so excited, I love to play her." And she did it and got like millions of views, and they were like, "Good job, Rachel." And then she, like, minutes later, followed it up with, "And never forget, free Palestine."
And isn't her co-star Jewish?
Yes, Gal Gadot, whatever.
Gadot. I mean, what?
Yeah.
Wow.
They tried, they flew an executive, one of the producers, out to go visit personally with Rachel Zegler to say, "Could you please take that down? Because we understand you can have your political views, but those aren't really helpful while you're trying to build an audience for a movie. Maybe you could save them for like your diary and your friends, but like maybe not, maybe just take the tweet down." And she wouldn't.
What an idiot I've been as a young person in this industry who has no filter and no idea what she's doing.
While Rachel Zegler escapes from her own disaster and hides out overseas, something wild is happening back home. A movie made of pixel blocks, yep, Minecraft, just showed up and completely stole the spotlight.
You can't tell me Minecraft is the worst movie of 2025 when Snow White exists. That's right.
When we look, you can see families were more than willing to go to the box office to support something like the Minecraft movie, while Rachel Zegler's Snow White continues to plunge.
Critics mocked it. No one saw it coming, but fans showed up in droves, and now it's printing money like crazy. Let's break down how this blocky adventure crushed Rachel's so-called fairy tale and left her running for cover.
She's literally the only person there. And do you not understand how humiliating this is? Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft goes something like this.
This is insane. Chicken
Minecraft in the United States in one weekend made more money than Snow White has made globally after 3 weekends. That's how bad it is right now.
Big mouth Rachel Zegler totally lost it after seeing the opening numbers for the Minecraft movie and realizing it crushed Snow White at the box office. You're not gonna believe this. Disney basically lit itself on fire and handed the win to a bunch of pixelated blocks. That's right. While the House of Mouse kept pushing its sloppy live-action Snow White, Minecraft stormed in and wiped the floor, making Disney's latest flop look like a bad high school project on YouTube.
So it got destroyed at the box office. Here's the box office numbers. The Minecraft movie made $60 million on Saturday. Snow White made $2 million.
And of course, this weekend, Minecraft came out, which has absolutely dominated the box office, done significantly better than analysts even projected. And now we're finding out that Snow White has officially crossed $160 million.
Critics were sure Minecraft would crash and burn. They called it too simple, too childish, too blocky to ever make it big in theaters. But guess what? The movie exploded with a massive $300 million global opening, turning all those expert predictions into a total joke. And Snow White? It barely crawled to $77 million after weeks in theaters. Yep, you heard that right. Even with Disney's massive marketing and non-stop hype, the movie flopped. Hard. Like, let's just pretend this never happened. Kind of bad.
And you know the saying, go woke, get broke, and Disney's going to lose money on this movie. And I believe it only made less than $1 million in China.
No one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie.
Every way that Disney changed the story, it changed it for the worse.
Here's the real kicker. Disney thought they could coast on nostalgia and ignore every warning fans gave them. Turns out, trashing your own fairy tale isn't the best way to sell movie tickets. And trust me, this is just the beginning. Stick around, because what's coming next includes total boardroom panic, wild blame games, and a lead actress who somehow forgot she's playing one of the most iconic characters in movie history.
Turned over $157 million while earning another $144 million internationally. The Minecraft video game was introduced in 2011 and sold more than 300 million copies. So it actually has a fan base, user base, people that care about it. In theory, Snow White should as well. Snow White's the movie that made Disney, the studio. They should have been more cautious and careful with their own IP. It's $1 billion IP. The Disney Snow White, faithfully adapted, would have made $1 billion.
The theaters were packed. Some showings were so loud, it felt more like a rock concert than a movie. No joke. Things got so wild, the cops had to show up and escort a few kids out because they were just having way too much fun.
Okay, and the cops had to escort the rowdy teenagers out. The Minecraft movie is doing something magical. It's creating a live audience reaction event where people are going to just be part of something to interact with the movie itself. The kind of thing that really creates like a kinetic movement.
And guess who's front and center in the voice cast? Jack Black. Yeah, he said some wild stuff over the years, but when it comes to bringing big laughs and crazy energy, the guy delivers. He knows how to fill seats. Audiences instantly connected with the movie's fun, lighthearted vibe, and loved how it actually stayed true to the game's spirit, something Disney probably should have done with Snow White. And here's the kicker. Critics gave it a weak 40% on review sites, but real people, they gave it a solid 87%. That says it all.
You can see here the Minecraft movie is 48% on Rotten Tomatoes, 87% audience score. That's kind of all that matters because these people pay the bills, these people don't. Teens in suits shouting lines, cheering like it was a concert. Check out the energy, unreal. Disney Snow White is flopping hard. Why did Minecraft win? Because they stayed true to their actual audience. If Disney had made a faithful adaptation to the original Snow White, it would have made $1 billion.
Meanwhile, big-name directors and producers are watching Snow White bomb, worried about the future of similar, modernized remakes. Rumors suggest some major layoffs might follow at Disney. The cost of multiple flops, like Lightyear, Strange World, and now Snow White, has battered Disney's bottom line. Investors are likely furious that a surefire classic could collapse so spectacularly.